Hi everyone, welcome to On the Other Hand. I'm Ariane Zurcher, and I have been working on this piece, which I will pan over to show you, and I'm kind of sitting with that right now. I was going to say stuck, but you know, I don't like using words like that. I think sometimes things just need to sort of sit and simmer for a little bit. So I am working on something smaller. I have this idea for vessels. I wanted to do these vessels. They're these amazing baskets that are woven. They're an irregular shaped basket, and they kind of sort of undulate, and they're really cool. And I thought, you know, it'd be so fun to make something out of fabric that has that kind of fluid, sort of undulating shape. So I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just trying stuff, you know, just playing. You just play. So I'll do a close-up and I'll show you what I'm working on, and I'll let you see how I'm kind of thinking about stuff. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of do a chalk line here around, and just excuse the mess. I just can't even be bothered with all this cleanup because it feels like I'm cleaning up and then I'm just making a mess again, and then it's like laundry. It just never seems to end, so why bother? I mean, laundry, obviously, yeah, there's a reason, but with this, I don't know. So I'm just going to go around and make a line here, and then I'm going to cut here around. I'll stitch here and we'll see what happens. I want it to kind of collapse. I always have ideas, you know, whether they work or not is a whole nother thing. So here we have my little circle, which I'm now going to cut out. And then it doesn't really matter. It's not like, you know, this doesn't need to be exact. It's just sort of a general idea, right? Okay, so there's that. In the last video, I talked about my grandfather's lace that he imported from Switzerland. This is one of the bits. So I think I'm going to put it down like this, and then I'm going to sew this on. I'm going to do it. I don't know if I want it to show or not. But okay, so I was playing around with bubble wrap and trying to see if I could like do something with plastic and weaving. So I started with a pair of some gimp that I had just sitting on a needle, and I had some of this, you know, silk sari from Steph Francis. I love this stuff. They sell it like, you know, like this, and then I just wrap it around these winders. But and so I kind of did this weaving, and I kind of like how that looks. And I was thinking, well, it might be fun to put the wrap against some material, and then stitch into it, and then cut away. I don't know. I'm playing around with that idea. Okay, so that's one idea. So then I started, so I put a burlap behind it, cut around, and then I started stitching. This is with the Klimt, the painter's thread. It's the number 3, right? Painter's thread. I love this stuff. Ugh. And Yeah, I just did some little 4-wrap French knots around here. This is not Klimt, it's also Painters, and I can't remember which one. It might be Hopper, but whatever. And I then, the thought was to then take one of these little doilies and go behind here, right? And kind of sandwich the burlap in. I don't know, I haven't quite figured that one out. The other part that that I'm working on is I have some wire, and I got a bunch of it. This is, what is this? 18 gauge, and this is also 18 gauge. This might not be. This looks thinner. This looks like maybe 22 gauge. In any case, I don't think it really matters. But the idea was that that I can use this wire, and I can put links to all this stuff in the down below in the description. The idea was to put wire, to maybe figure out a way to use wire to give this some stability. So I don't know. And then the other thought was, if this is going to be the bottom, then this is fine as the bottom there, and I don't really need a doily on top because who's going to see it? But it might be kind of fun to have these little guys sticking out. And I was thinking I could put, so this is a piece that I cut from that big piece, right? And this is the other piece that I've painted over, and I sanded, and I stuffed, and I stitched, and I, yeah, there was a lot going on here, and then painted over. But I was thinking, and it's a little bit kind of stiff now, which is, I kind of like that. But the idea was that I could put this like this, you know, and stitch it down, and then start maybe doing some other kind of wrapping around. I don't know. I mean, I'm, you know, like I said, I'm just kind of trying to figure this stuff out. But, and I'm not clear on whether I do, if I stitch, it seems like it would be so much easier if I figure out what I'm doing, sort of generally, right? And stitch this flat before I attach it here. It's going to be much harder to start stitching once it's attached to the bottom. So I have this kind of general ideas, right? And I've got the dimensions of this round. This will be my bottom. And then the question I have for myself, and I haven't figured out, is do I put a wire at the bottom? And if so, why? I guess because it would give this, it won't crunch so much on me if I put wire around it. I don't know that that's actually true. I also have this wire, which is like a 12 gauge wire. So that's pretty, you know, this is pretty heavy duty. But I could stitch this down in here, and then that would definitely keep this from crunching up or anything. And then the other thing that I'm thinking is, do I add more, something more, like, you know, there's, you know, that stuff that we use for bags and stuff, that kind of foam. Like, I could do that too. I could put something in there. I don't know. I mean, I guess the question is, how stiff do I want this, and how, you know, you could also just put in cardboard. I mean, that would do it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just playing right now, but I kind of like the idea of using this as part of it. And remember, I was talking about, on that other video, I was talking about this piece, which I'd also cut away from the bigger, my abstraction piece, and how I was thinking I would try to float it, and this is the Swiss lace. But now I'm wondering if I should use, this in here. And that could be kind of cool also. So it would have this kind of, thing. My inclination right now is to actually put another layer of burlap. And then I think I'm going to put some stiffener in here and iron it in. Put a layer of burlap on this one. Do a similar thing to what I did here. Stitch some stuff on here, lay this down, and then maybe I really like the way this is looking. I'm going to pull the camera back just so you can see. If I do this, I kind of like the height of this, right? It's, what is the height? It's about 6 inches high. And I kind of like that height, 6 inches. And one of the things that I want this to kind of do something like this, which will be easy for me to do with some thread. I can do it invisibly, I can do it not invisibly. But that's kind of what I'm thinking at this point. I think I'm going to add onto here first before I stitch it down, and I'll just keep propping this up to see as I go what I like and what I don't like and what I think. That's what I'm doing. I'll keep showing you as I go. I keep saying I'm gonna clean this area, as you can see. That has not happened. So I thought I would just kind of zoom in on what I'm doing here. So I did not put anything in between here. I did, however, do a stitch, just kind of like a seed stitch to adhere that. I still think I'm going to put a stiffener or maybe a foam, like what you do if you've ever made a purse or something like that. There's that foamy stuff. I actually use it on my glasses case and scissor case pattern. I think I even do it with my bag, the rice variation on a rice sack. Yeah, so I might do that. I haven't figured that out yet, and I don't need to until I've done this other stuff. Then what I did was I kind of started to piece together this. I'm going to pull back a little bit so you can see what I'm talking about. So this piece, which I kind of like how crazy that looks, and this piece, and if I do this, kind of go around, right, like this, I just need one more little piece here to add on, and then I've got kind of a shape of sorts. But before I piece this together, I wanted to do some other stuff. So I did this, which was a big piece that had come from that abstraction piece. So I sewed some silk over it. I did some other, I don't know what this is, maybe linen. I put some linen here, and then I slashed it to reveal the underbelly of this. I don't know what I'm going to do with this exactly, but I have it. And then I have this scrap, and I thought, and I had a little yellow bit of linen. So I thought, well, I'll just stitch around that and maybe do some other stitching here before I adhere it to this piece. And that's kind of my thinking, is that this is what's going to fill in. And then I think while it's still laying flat, I think maybe I'll take some of my throster, the silk throster from Steph Francis that I love to use, and kind of blur some of the lines with it, or I don't know. I haven't gotten that far. I don't want to get ahead of myself. So right now, this is what I'm doing. And I'll just keep stitching with the camera. Yes, I'm just going around. I've done this before. I think I did this kind of stitching on, I know I did it on that drawstring bag pattern. And it's just kind of a fun, easy, it's a straight stitch. You go into the middle where it's more dense and then kind of radiate out, making the lengths different. And oh, and I'm using, what is this? This is the Pearl 5 Steph Francis. It's number 12, the colorway. I love this. It's really pretty. I'm just going around and around and around. And this is fraying, and I'm not going to really worry about it. I need to go in a bit more so that it doesn't fray. I'm getting too close to the edge. That's what's going on there. But none of this really matters, you know, it just, it does whatever it does, and, you know, so what? We're good. Okay, so I think I'll just do one more sort of long one coming out here, and then I could do, you know, some French knots in there if I felt like it. I think I'm just going to leave it alone. And now what? Let's see, I've got this. This is Painters, and it's Gauguin. Oh, and I was looking for my, you know, the thread gatherer. She has that silken pearl. I have a whole box of it gone. I mean, that's how messy this place is, that in an entire box is somehow here, but I can't see it underneath all the other stuff. So anyway, you know, this is kind of a nice, this might be kind of a nice thing to do some stitching in here. I haven't really decided. So I'm just going to keep going with this, and yeah. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July. Mine was very quiet. Well, it was very noisy out there, but very quiet here. I did not go out into the crowds. It was over on the Hudson River this year, and I just, they barricade everything, and I don't like the crowds, and so, yeah. And my son and his girlfriend came over with their kitty, Loki, who, oh my gosh, I am completely in love. I'm going to show some photos of him and even some video of him. Look at him. He is so adorable. Is this the most adorable kitty you've ever seen? I'm a cat grandmother. I'm in love. Look at him, and he's like falling asleep, and then he's like going upright, and then he's falling. Oh my God. I mean, he is just the cutest little thing. I think they got him when he was maybe a month old. He seemed very young. It was someone that my son's girlfriend knows through work. Somebody that she knows knew somebody else, and their cat had gotten pregnant, and it's not like you walk around and there are, you know, cats running in the streets like in Rome or something. So I don't know, but look at this photo that she sent me of the father. He's a thug, this cat. He's in an alley. He's like, I think there's like an empty beer can behind him or something. I don't know. My husband, I showed him the photo. I said, look, this is Loki's father. And he goes, he's an alley cat. He's like the epitome of an alley cat, but he's beautiful. I think maybe he's some part Maine Coon or something. I don't know. He's gorgeous, and he's so cute, and he is just the sweetest thing, and has completely stolen my heart. and I get to cat sit every now and then. So I'm very excited about the whole thing. In between cooking, cat sitting, and just generally, you know, doing all the stuff that I do in a day, I'm doing this. So if you noticed, I grated part of my thumb off. Oh my gosh, you'd think at the age of almost 64, I would have learned how to grate cheese without grating part of my finger off. It's just, every time I do something like this, I think, how long is it going to take me to like learn? Evidently never. Good to see everyone.